In my lifetime, no club has influenced world football quite like FC Barcelona. From tiki-taka to La Masia to European domination, they have been instrumental in shaping the modern game, hitting their peak in 2010 with one of the greatest club sides ever witnessed.
Even as a Madridista, I can say this team in 2010 was maybe like the best team I ever seen, you know. So of course I played in a really amazing team, but this team, and I said the best opponents I had is Xavi and Iniesta.
But their meteoric rise was only possible due to an unlikely series of events 20 odd years before then. You see, Barcelona prior to 1990 was closer to Athletic Bilbao than it was to Real Madrid, having just 10 league titles to Madrid's 25. Post 1990, Barcelona have claimed 17 league titles compared to Madrid's 11. So what changed? Well, it all begins with a familiar tale: FC Barcelona and financial mismanagement. In 1987, the Barcelona president at the time, Josep Luis Núñez, came up with a way to pay less taxes on the players' wages. He proposed that half of each player's salary be classified as image rights, which were taxed at a lower rate. This arrangement benefited both the club by lowering their expenses and the players by increasing their take-home pay. The players were happy to agree to this deal, and everything seemed to be going swimmingly. A year later, the situation at Barcelona had taken a turn for the worse. The team had endured a disappointing season, and with just 4 matches remaining before the end of the league, they found themselves a staggering 23 points behind Real Madrid, who had already secured the title. The fans were frustrated and angry, and the majority of the blame was being directed at the president. Amid this turmoil, a new crisis was brewing off the field. The Spanish tax authorities had begun to scrutinize the club's financial practices, and concluded that the image rights arrangement was in fact illegal. Barcelona were required to pay the back taxes on the wages, and if they failed to do so, they risked facing charges of tax evasion. The players were outraged and made it clear that the club had to either prove to the tax authorities that their image rights deal was legitimate or cover the fines and back taxes themselves. Believing that they were in a strong position since the club couldn't just fire all of them, they chose to take a stand. They decided to hold a press conference at the Hesperia Hotel in Barcelona to publicly denounce the president. They wanted to expose how he had misled them about the legality of the arrangement and rally the fans behind their cause. The manager at the time, Luis Aragonés, knowing the plan and aware that after the difficult campaign his job was on the line, went behind the players' backs to the president and basically told him, "They're going to hold a press conference against you. If I stand with them, we'll win the next match," which was against Madrid, "and you'll fire me. If I don't, we won't win anything for a long time." The players went ahead with their plan. The manager stood with them and together held a press conference criticizing the president, which would come to be known as the Hesperia Mutiny. What the players didn't anticipate, however, was the fans' response. Instead of blaming the president, the fans began to view the players as a group of wealthy, pampered mercenaries. While they saw Núñez as a hero fighting against these greedy divas, the public outrage was directed at the players, who were now seen as the villains in this drama. And Núñez was more than willing to capitalize on this newfound support to deal with them. They did indeed win their following match against Madrid, but it was probably the only time the team has been booed while beating their eternal rival. At the end of the season, the manager and almost the entire squad were sold or released. The club was a blank slate. All they needed was a manager with a philosophy and ideas worth building around, and they found exactly that in the form of former Barcelona player Johan Cruyff.
Years ago, all the history sometimes came here Argentina coach and we play in the Argentina way, okay? A Dutch, German coach and we play in German way. Until arrived Johan Cruyff and said, okay, from now on we are going to play in that way. Going to take the ball, the positional game, and we were successful in that time. It was the first one, so it's difficult to arrive here and say, okay, you have to play in that way, in these different aspects, no? I arrived here as a coach, and all the people know that for me it's easier, but the difficulty is in the beginning, to start, and it was the boss, yeah, of course.
He brought with him the idea of total football, a style of play that emphasised fluid positional interchange among players, pressing high up the pitch, and an attacking focus. Once radical and revolutionary, Cruyff's principles have become standard throughout the modern game, and his blueprint for developing tactical knowledge in young players has been copied all over the world.
It's when we started in Barcelona to do positioning play. It's responsibility of the ball, where you play, how you play. Controlling the ball is the basis of football. In the beginning that was something where people laughed about, because they didn't understand that it was football. And until it had the results and people enjoyed it and people loved it, and now it's a fantastic work.
In his time managing Barcelona, he won 11 trophies, built the extraordinary Dream Team, evolved La Masia, and gave the club the necessary foundation for success decades later. But without the president and his penny pinching in the 80s, there wouldn't be 5 Champions League titles for Barcelona, and the greatest player of all time would have had a very different career. Thanks for watching.